Hey, everyone. I guess Robert. Hi, Robert. We are going to get started in just a minute. Here's the real weird thing. I was going to do it when I said we're going live right now, but then Patreon says, oh, you have to give me 5 minutes, which seems like a bad plan on their part, but whatever. So we're just going to chill for like a minute. I just got done recording a very good episode of Battle of the Atom, which is the podcast that I do. You probably are aware of that. Where we talked about Atom X, the Extreme, the whole time. It's very delightful. So we're going to get this thing started in just 1 second. Okay. Is it up for them? Yeah, we are kind of golden pony boys. So let's get this thing going. So this is the stream thing where I talk about different X-Men questions that the good people on Patreon send over to me. So we're just gonna get right on in there and see what's going on. I'm Zach, by the way. You probably know me from my Twitter or Patreon or whatever. It's also called Xavier Files. So we will see. I'm kind of curious. Okay, yeah, you can hear me with this mic. Just had to double check. This is a new thing I'm setting up. I don't have it just for this. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first question comes to us from Sam Fryer, who says, for the Q&A, if you were a Power Ranger and got to pick your Zord, what kind of animal would it be? Now, I've got strong Power Ranger-based feelings. The first superhero that I really, really liked was the Black Power Ranger. He had morphing action. Very good. His name was also Zach, which I enjoyed greatly. So, got strong-based feelings on Power Rangers. Now, in terms of which Zord I would have, I mean, look, the Red Ranger always gets the best big Zord, which I would want to have. But if I'm thinking of an animal, I gotta say that like Stingray's got a lot of potential, or Rhino, because you already got like the horn thing that you can use to stab and jab at people. So that'd be a good one. I'm gonna go with Rhino here. That's probably the best bet. You can use that for a lot of ramming action, stabbing action, things like that. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen a Rhino Power Ranger Zord. I'm going to also be honest, haven't watched Power Rangers in a while. I have a 3-year-old, and he kind of likes Power Rangers, but they're doing this whole, I don't even know what their theme is. It's something with spinning ninja boys and throwing stars. So that is that. So thank you for that question, Sam. Hopefully I answered it deep enough for you. The next question comes to us. A lot of questions from Luke Hare, who is a friend. First question he asks is, do the horny cops use fuzzy handcuffs? Now, to preface, the horny cops are the name that I gave Leah Williams' team from Extremists, her book that comes out tomorrow. Go pick that up. It's fantastic. I assume, I haven't read it, I've just heard good things. But do they use fuzzy handcuffs? I think in continuity, the answer is no, but I feel like in my heart of hearts, the answer is in fact yes. They do use fuzzy handcuffs, because why wouldn't they? Though they do not police. They aren't the horny cops like in Sex Criminals from Chip Zdarsky and Matt Fraction, where they are stopping people from abusing time sex. Sex Criminals is better than it sounds, guys. So they aren't necessarily fetish-based cops, which tells me they probably wouldn't use fuzzy handcuffs. But I like to think that they would have them around, because them horny cops are in fact horny themselves, which is conflict of interest when you think about it. The next question, also from Luke Hare, says, are we better off without the Captain Britain Corps? Now, there's a lot of ways we can take that. Luke's referencing his very good podcast, Exiled, which is a live play RPG podcast that is a lot of fun. But the Captain Britain core is not something I've necessarily loved. It's kind of confusing. I don't think it is the best thing for Captain Britain or the Marvel Universe as a whole. I've also never read those Alan Davis Captain Britons because there's a lot of them and they are long and I just haven't read them. I haven't done it. I bet they're great. It's Alan Davis and Alan Moore. Alan Moore wrote those dang things. Hi, Luke. So that is something that probably turned out okay. Additionally, like the Captain Britain Corps kind of sucks. They're fascist time cops. They aren't great. They're not what I want in comics. And I like Captain Britain better as there's a one-off kind of rugby boy who is just doing his darndest. And he has a very good beard now, which I appreciate. As someone who has not shaved in a little bit. I think it's a good look, and more superheroes should have beards. In fact, I'm gonna get real deep. I'm gonna get real close on this mic here. Why Nightcrawler doesn't have a beard is beyond me right now. I'm telling you, I think Shauna Maguire is great. I really enjoyed The Amazing Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler should have a beard. He looks better with a beard. Everyone looks better with a beard. Let's have a beard. Is that a good take? I want to say so. All right. Let's see. Next question comes from Luke also. And Luke also asks, which X-Men or X-adjacent character would most likely need to come up with a new dance move? Now, there's not a lot of situations where you need to come up with a new dance move. In fact, most dances would work. Okay, hold on. This is a good thing. Robert Secundus, I assume it's Robert Secundus because I only have so many friends, asked, how many Hollywood men have beards? Because, you know, Nightcrawler's a Hollywood boy now. And here's the thing. Several of the Chris's, the Hollywood Chris's, have beards. And it works out really well. So I think he could still rock a beard. Now, Luke also asked, is the Humpty dance your choice of hump or something? Oh no, he asked, is the Humpty dance your chance to do the hump? And Luke, I don't know 90s rap, so I can't help you here. I know the Humpty dance is something that exists. Anyway, X-Men who would need to invent a new dance? I want to say Trance, who's a new X-Men character who has a ghost body, and I bet that she could do some pretty good new and unique bespoke dances with her ghost body, which is quite a question. Thank you, Luke, for all of that. Also, if you could plug the original if you could, I missed this one. I thought it was just a plug. More limbs, more dances, Luke says, which is not true. If you could plug an original Exiled concept into the current Marvel series, what would you plug into what? Well, Exiled as a series is dead now, Luke, so there is no current Marvel series. But I would plug the Wendigo that is in Exiled. He is my only Wendigo I've ever cared about. He is a very strong boy. He can rip off people's arms, and he is a cannibal. He is also into unionization, workers' rights. He is against the Canadian oppression of its First Nations folk, and he's a good pro wrestling dad. So I like him. Also, spoilers for this week, he is Neil Gaiman and the Sandman. So Exiled is wild, guys. Go listen to that. It's only like 100+ hours. My next question comes to me from Vishal Gulapali, who asks, if you were an X-Man created between 1990 and 2000, which X-Men would be the different love interests you would have been shipped around with? And boy, does this question have some layers. If I was an X-Man created in the 90s, which I am a man created in the 90s, so say about that what you will, I essentially would be me, I think, or a baby version of me, who knows? Who would I be shipped with? I don't know. See, okay, I'm actually going to say, I feel weird when people ship themselves with people. I just found out that the top-rated Nightcrawler fanfiction is Nightcrawler hooks up with you, the reader, and I was an innocent boy, and I thought it was the reader as in the Inhumans character. It's not. It's people getting real into Nightcrawler and per Chuck Austin, his two dicks. Which, more power to him. Chase your bliss, but not my jam. So I don't really think of, like, having different love interests with fictional characters. I think it would be odd. Though because it was the 90s, I assume that I would have just been shipped with Psylocke because that's what everyone does. Yes, Luke, Nightcrawler has 2 BAMFs. Check out the special features of the original release of the DVD of X2 X-Men United. Chuck Austin has a feature where he says something to the effect of, you know, Nightcrawler has 2 fingers and 2 toes, so what else would he have 2 of? And then he goes like this. I'm sorry, explicit tag. I'm trying to explain. Zach Strong, who also has my name, says he wants to ask a non-X question. Besides reading bad X-Men comics, which I do, what does Zach, great name, he notices it, so we're good, Zach, do for fun? Video games, board games, puzzles, skeet shooting? So that's a great question. I don't skeet shoot. I've actually never shot a gun, which is wild because I live in rural Ohio. But no, so I'm a parent of 2, and that takes up a lot of time because guys, kids are a lot of work. So I'll do that. But beyond that, yeah, I was not a Boy Scout either, Luke. I was a Cub Scout for 4 meetings before I quit. Never sold popcorn, never even got a uniform. Just wasn't my jam. So things I do for fun. I have not been a big video game guy in the last while, but I got a Switch for Christmas a year and a half ago, and boy, do I like that. It's a lot of fun. I like playing Smash and Mario and all that stuff. It's a good time. Those are the only video games I've ever liked in the last little bit. Beyond that, it's mostly listening to music. I play guitar, which I haven't done in a while, and I'm not going to do live here, but I don't think I've ever shown off. I've got a Epiphone Explorer, and it has, and I'm not joking about this, an X-Men guitar strap, because I love the pun of it being an Explorer. Get it? Get it? It's out of tune, which probably sounds bad. Also, it's not plugged into anything, which is essential for an electrical guitar. So yeah, that's kind of what I do for fun. I also work all the time, which isn't a blast. I also have been super into cooking recently, which my wife loves, and I really enjoy. It's a nice calming thing, and if you got to eat 3 meals a day, they might as well be good meals. Let's see. Okay, and I believe, wait, I feel like there was one other question that I did just skip before I got to the last question. Oh yeah, Ben Crawl. Ben, my favorite thing to cook right now, Luke, is, ooh, that's a toughie. Breakfast is the most calming thing to cook, which is simple. It's just eggs and bacon. It's nothing crazy. But I actually really love doing like a full roasted chicken, rubbing it down good, figuring out the right combination of spices, tossing it in there, and then making a good, couple good side dishes, especially with sauce. Here's the thing about cooking that elevates you from being a good cook to actually being like really good at cooking. Make a sauce with stuff, and it's great. Sauces make the world go round. It's essentially just adding cream to some stuff and some other seasonings and stirring it for a little bit. Guys, it's easy. You should do it. Ben Crawl asks, for the Q&A, what's your top 5 favorite non-X-Men comics? Hawkeye by Matt Fraction and David Aja and others. Love it. It's what got me really back into comics. So that's up there. 5 is a tough one because I don't really have a list. I love Flex Mentallo by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. It's one of those comics that speaks to you when you don't know what else is going on. Like it really got to me. Saga, as I'm a parent, I get that Saga is kind of a generic answer, but Saga really resonated with me. Hellboy as a series is great. Mike Mignola is fabulous, just absolutely amazing in everything he does. And if I'm gonna have a fourth, I don't know what it's gonna be, or a fifth, whatever. I'll come up with one and let you know. But the last question comes to us from a friend of the show, Nia Ravel, who asks, you are given the full control over marketing and branding of the X line. What is the new motto of the X line? What tie-in products do you create for mass market? And what do you make for only your own personal collection? For my own personal collection, I make a custom Banff doll because I've wanted to get both of my sons them, and they don't make them, and it really bothers me. But actually, for marketing and branding of the X line, I wouldn't even worry about a motto because I think marketing on this, and this is something I feel very strongly about, for X-Men and comic books in particular, is more about getting the message out about where you can get comic books, why you should get comic books. Now, the biggest thing of that, if you want to do a nationwide thing, is you're going to have to focus on digital. Sorry, LCSs, you're great. I go to my LCS every week, but I can't say, hey, go to comicbookfinder.com. No. That's adding an extra step to the process. Say, go to marvel.com and buy comics, or go to comixology.com and buy the comics. You can embed a link and stuff. It's much easier that way. But as far as tie-in products, I think the best thing is some of those free comic book day stuff, having more of those low cost, easy, heavily marketed ways to get people in the stores. You have to just find a way to get the bodies that don't know where their LCS is into it. So if you can, find a way with digital downloads and digital promotions to say, hey, here's the new trailer for Captain Marvel. Press this button to get to Comixology and get this exclusive comic. Easy. You've got something right there. People are now into your ecosystem. They're into your market, and they are making it happen. Now those people are set up to buy comics. It's a great system. If you could go in with something like that, it's, I think, a lot more effective than getting something on a screen. Like, I know a lot of people say, hey, just run an ad before the movie, but that's not your target market right now. You want a digital group. Everyone who shows up in the first week of Captain Marvel gets a free download code at the theater. I like that. I don't love it because then you're also putting another step of someone remembering that code, moving forward and putting it into their system, getting into your ecosystem. I think there's still too many barriers to building someone into a lifelong comics fan. And that's the biggest thing for me, just from a marketing standpoint. You want to make it as easy as possible to access your product. And comics are freaking hard to access. They are absolutely a nightmare to access. You have to go to a specialty store that's probably not well kept in a dingy strip mall. People don't want to do that. And then you have to know what you're looking for. No, you need to say, this is what you get. This is where you move into. Hell, do something like, hey, you all get a free month of Comixology Unlimited. Try all of these comics. Sure, you might be helping out your competitors a little bit, but you're getting there. So that's what I would do. My tablet is going to die. So yeah, thank you guys for attending. I think it was a good time. If you have any questions, I'm going to be putting out the call every Monday. If you're not on the Patreon, that's where the call comes out for questions. So, I mean, you can access that at any level. So if you want to throw in $1, if it's worth $1 to you to listen to me ramble for 20 minutes every month, that's fine. If it's not, look, then you're probably making better decisions with your money than I am. But that's between you and your pocketbook. Until then, this was great. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a good night.